Okay. Book 1, Chapter 2. Bello deinde. So Dindes then, we're starting off with in war. The Aborigines and the Trojans, similar at the same time, plural past participle. So then the Aborigines and the Trojans at the same time were seeking to be in a war. So Turnus Rex Rutulorum. So these two are in apposition, they're nominatives. To Turnus, the king of the Rutulori, Rutulinians, or whatever you want to call it, pronounce them. To who? Pacta Lavinia. So Lavinia is taking this female part of Pact. There had been an agreement with Lavinia. Anti-adventum Aeneae fuerat. Before the arrival of Aeneas, that's genitive, Lavinia had made a pact with Turnus. Prelatum. So this is like prefero, prelatum, pretuli. To be preferred to him, an advenam. This is a stranger who's just come in the accusative. Grey, that's with difficulty. Treat that as an adverb if you like. Patiens. So this is our present participle. So Turnus was bearing with difficulty that a new arrival, a foreigner, was preferred prelatum to him, and at the same time, Aeneae Latino qui bellum into. He brought in a war. We'll take that as a dative to Aeneas and the Latins. Nutra aeques later ex eo curtamine abiunt. So neither of the two armies, we could say, went away later happy from this contest, from this battle, or war, as we saw a bellum there. Victi rutili, so that's plural nominative. Victi is the past participle in the plural. So the Rutuli were beaten, the victors were the Aborigines, and there's the qui enclitic, and the Trojans. We've gone into accusative. Ducem Latinum, their leader or their general Latinum, a misere, they had lost. Inde, so then Turnus and the Rutili are diffisi, so that's plural, they're distrustful in matters, on how the matter's going possibly. Ad florentes opes, to the flourishing resources of the Etruscans. And we've not got another quay here, so and Mezentius regum eorum. Mezentium, their king, confugiant. They fled there. This would be Turnus and the Rutili. They fled to these resources of the Etruscans, and this is their king, who Carere, this is the name of a city, Caere, opulento tum opido. So we're taking ablatives here, which was then, who was then, qui tum, this king who was then imperitans. This is imperio. So he was ruling over an opulent town, a rich town. Yam indi. So already then, ab initio, from the beginning, minime latus. He was leastly happy in the origin, and we've got two genitives here, of a new city, and then nimio plus, quam satis tusum esset acolus rem traionum crescere ratus. So here's the ratus as past passive. He was thinking then that too much more than a satisfactory amount, the acolus, these are the people living there, were safe. So he was leastly thinking that the people living there were safe because of this Trojan republic was growing. Hord gravatum socia arma rutilis juxit. So he joined to the Rutili in alliance with arms. Gravatum, horde. Horde just means not or not at all. So I've set up our daily dictionary word is gravatum, the adverb. Reluctantly and unwilling. There we go. You learn something every day. So now they've joined together. Aeneas in the nominative against such a terrors of war and the animos, this could be the courage of the Aborigines, to himself conciliaret. Okay, so what's going on here is Aeneas is trying to reconcile to himself the fears of such a war in the Aboriginal people there where the Trojans have come to. And so, next up, Eodum Iure. This is, so they would be under the same law of the same rights, and and not alone would his own people have the rights, but it looks like both of them, the Aboriginal people and the Aeneas people, but even nomines omnes essent. So they would even have the same name, all. So they would have the same laws and rights and the same name. Latinos utremque. So both of them are Pelevit. This is Aeneas doing it. So Aeneas is calling both of these races Latinos. Nec deinde. So we'll take the Danes next in time. The Aborigines looks nominative to the Trojans, which is in dative or ablative plural. So neither then were the Aborigines studium. So in zeal and trustworthiness towards King Aeneas, Caesare. So the Aborigines didn't have less zeal and loyalty than, we've got comparative by ablative. Towards, erga is a preposition, towards their King Aeneas. Fretusque. So we'll start off with and fretus, and relying on his animus, this spirit, this we already know it's got zeal and loyalty, of the coalescing in dies. You take this as multiple words meaning from day to day. Magus is the comparative, so we've got more of the two people, double genitive. So relying on this spirit of the coalescing, the two peoples were growing more coalescing from day to day into the same minds, basically. And here's Aeneas, here's a nominative, which goes with that past passage of Fretus. So Aeneas was relying from day to day, and they're getting more of these minds coming together of the peoples. Quamquam, although Tanta Opibus, with such wealth, Etruria erat was. So after this comma, it looks like we're going into being about the these people of Etruria. Ut, so that now it was not on the land alone, but even in the sea, per totum Italy, through all of Italy, in the longitudinum, which is the length from the Alps, taking that preposition, to, now we're going with the accusative, from the Alps to the Straits of Sicily. The report of his name, or the fame of his name, this is actually probably with Etruria, was filling up the land through all of Italy. Nevertheless, with wars, bellum propulsare, he was able to make war from behind the walls, but nevertheless, into his copious, his forces, he led it into battle. So he didn't stay behind his wall, he went out into battle lines. Secundum inde prolim Latinus, that's ablative. So it was a favourable battle, these two accusatives are in that position. So then it was a favourable battle for the Latins. And we've got of Aeneas, or it could be dative, etiam ultimum oporum mortalium fuit. Okay, so that's a dative. So, and for Aeneas, this was even his last work as a mortal. So I'm guessing he died. So situs est, he's situated, I take it where he's buried because he's dead. Quem cumque, this can be a substantive pronoun. It's whoever or whatever. Eum, that's just a simple demonstrative pronoun, him. To be called, it's passive. Jus and fas. So it's right or lawful and fas, which is right on the side of the gods, basically. So he's buried, whether is you should say that he's lawful and right, to be a super above the Numicum River. So he was buried above the river Numicus. Jovem indignitum appellant. So they call him, when they speak to him in the accusative, Jupiter indiges. After he did all his works, he died, and however he wants to be called, this is where he was buried, and that's what they call him.